participate in our military. We passed over a dozen bills gutting specific Biden-Harris regulations. We passed the Parents' Bill of Rights. We investigated the Chinese Communist Party. We stopped the D.C. crime bill that would have made our nation's capital simply too dangerous to visit. And we passed the strongest border security bill in decades. Get ready, because when we grow our majority, when we flip the Senate, and when we send President Donald J. Trump back to the White House, we won't just be holding the line anymore, we'll be moving forward. We will turn America First principles into law. I know firsthand that Minnesotans can't afford 4 more years of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. That's right, which is why I'm confident that we will make history this November when we turn Minnesota red for the first time in 50 years. The Democrats' disastrous record on crime, trade, and regulation has ruined the lives of countless Minnesotans. When Minneapolis was in flames and businesses were in ruins, Kamala Harris encouraged and enabled the criminals and the rioters. Oh, it gets worse. She even promoted a fund to release the criminals from jail. It doesn't get reported much in our media, but one criminal Kamala Harris freed in Minneapolis went on to murder a man in St. Paul, Minnesota. Donald Trump stands with the people and the police, our men and women in blue, not with the criminals and the rioters. Donald Trump also fought for Minnesota workers and farmers, fighting back against Chinese trade abuses, ending NAFTA, and replacing it with the USMCA. Joe Biden voted for NAFTA and China's entry into the WTO, devastating Minnesota's economy. And Kamala Harris, she opposed tariffs on China. Of course, when they aren't outsourcing our jobs through bad trade deals, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are destroying them through taxes and regulation. They are America last. But next year, Donald Trump, with the support of Trump majorities in the House and Senate, will put America first again. Thank you. And I'm confident that together we are going to make America great again. God bless you. May God continue to bless Donald Trump and his family, and God bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Majority Leader of the United States House of Representatives, Congressman Steve Scalise of Louisiana.
God bless each and every one of you. I'm House Majority Leader Steve Scalise from the great state of Louisiana. Now, I was born in New Orleans, so I've seen some crazy things in my time. But New Orleans has nothing on Washington, D.C. these past 4 years. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have spent your tax dollars trashing America's finances in ways no sane or sober-minded person ever would. Let's talk energy. They've eroded the American energy dominance that President Trump delivered. Joe Biden approved the Nord Stream pipeline for Russia, but he killed the Keystone pipeline here at home. Thousands of American jobs gone. It doesn't end there. Biden let Iran and Venezuela export their oil, but he stopped liquefied natural gas exports here in America. President Biden's not done. President Biden waived taxes on Chinese solar panels, but he raised taxes on Americans. When we elect Donald Trump as our next president and expand our Republican House majority, we will end the Democrats' assault on American energy once and for all. Now let's look at taxes. Biden and Harris want a $5 trillion tax hike. In our first 100 days, President Trump and a Republican majority will make the Trump tax cuts permanent. And yes, we will end taxes on tips and deliver another tax cut for working families. On the border, Biden and Harris opened it up to the entire world. Prisons are being emptied. President Trump and a Republican majority will repass H.R. 2, the strongest border security bill in decades. We will lock down the border, and yes, we will finish building the wall. On voting, our most sacred right as citizens, voting. Biden and Harris want illegals to vote now that they've opened up the border. Republicans will repass the SAVE Act to block illegal aliens from voting in our elections. On foreign policy, Biden and Harris brought us weakness and war. President Trump and a Republican majority will begin rebuilding our military and will end the woke indoctrination in its ranks. We will restore American power and peace. On education, Biden and Harris opposed school choice. They actually investigated parents at school boards. President Trump and a Republican majority will pass legislation expanding school choice and will repass the Parents' Bill of Rights. Parents should be free to choose what their children are taught and where. Now, lastly, I need to say something about Saturday's attempt on President Trump's life. Many of you know I was the survivor of a politically motivated shooting in 2017. Not many know that while I was fighting for my life, Donald Trump was one of the first to come console my family at the hospital. That's the kind of leader he is. Courageous under fire, compassionate towards others. Let's put Donald Trump back in the White House this November so we can make America great again. God bless you. May Donald Trump continue to receive God's blessing, and God bless these great United States of America.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, Mike Johnson of Louisiana.
Good evening, my friends. What an amazing crowd, and what a great time it is to unite our party and to send President Donald Trump back to the White House. That's what we're going to do. But we're not just uniting as Republicans. We're uniting today as Americans in the wake of the assassination attempt on the life of President Trump. Everyone hear me clearly and listen to me at home and make no mistake. The House is conducting an immediate and thorough investigation of these tragic events. And that work has already begun. The American people deserve to know the truth, and we will ensure accountability. I promise you that. I promise you that. This has always been an important principle to us. We in the Republican Party are the law and order team. We always have been, and we always will be, the advocates for the rule of law. And we all know that that principle, as well as many others, is in serious jeopardy today. See, we've come to a moment in America where the basic things that we once took for granted are being openly challenged like never before. My friends, we are no longer just in a battle between two opposing political parties. We are, but it's not just ours versus D's anymore. We're now in the midst of a struggle between two completely different visions of who we are as Americans and what our country will be. The Republican Party stands for the foundational truths that made America the greatest nation in the history of the world. We are the most free, the most powerful, the most benevolent nation that has ever been. It's not even close. It's not even close. But we have no guarantee that this grand experiment in self-governance can endure unless we respond to the call to keep it. 248 years ago, we boldly proclaimed in our Declaration that all men are created equal, not born equal, created equal, and that we're endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights. See, we understand that our rights do not come from government, they come from God. There's another thing that we recognize. We recognize that we are made in His image. And because of that, every single person has inestimable dignity and value. And your value is not related in any way to the color of your skin, what zip code you live in, where you come from, what your talents are, or what you can contribute to society. Your value is inherent because it is given to you by your Creator. That's what we stand for. I speak a lot about what I call the 7 core principles of American conservatism. What do we stand for as Republicans, they want to know? I think it boils down to a few things: individual freedom, limited government, the rule of law, peace through strength, fiscal responsibility, free markets, and human dignity. Indeed, those are the 7 core principles of American conservatism, but they're actually the core principles of our republic itself. And while they resonate in our hearts and in the hearts of most Americans, listen to me, the radical woke progressive left has disdain for those principles, all right? They have a very different vision for what America should become. They want to tear down those foundations and remold us into some sort of borderless, lawless, Marxist, socialist utopia. We're here to say, not on our watch. We will not allow that to happen. It was just 3 weeks ago that Kelly and I dropped off our oldest son at the Naval Academy. That's right. In 4 years, he'll graduate, and he'll join the 1.3 million active duty service members who bravely defend our country. We're so proud of Jack and all our children, but like most parents today, we're concerned about their future. America can't risk 4 more years of Joe Biden's weakness that has invited so much aggression by our enemies. We can't survive the dramatic increases in violence, crime, and drugs that the Democrats' policies have brought upon our communities. And we cannot allow the many millions of illegal aliens they've allowed to cross our borders to harm our citizens, drain our resources, or disrupt our elections. We will not allow it. My friends, we're watching the principles of faith, family, and freedom that once defined our nation now being trampled underfoot by the radical left. As President Trump raised his fist and gave a rally cry on Saturday, now is our time to fight, and we will. We're in a fateful battle of ideas, my friends, and we have to recognize that. But in this battle, and in November, the American people will reject the party of self-destruction, and they will elect the party of peace and prosperity and opportunity. The GOP will grow our House majority, we will take back the Senate, and we will return Donald J. Trump to the White House. Standing arm in arm, we will make America safe again. Listen, we reach out tonight to everyone watching at home. We invite all Americans who believe in the promise of our great nation to join us in this fateful battle. We can and we will reverse this current decline. We can restore our founding principles, and we can preserve this exceptional nation that God has entrusted to us, and what Abraham Lincoln referred to as the last best hope of man on the earth. Thank you so much. God bless you, God bless our troops, and God bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, now please welcome businessman Vivek Ramaswamy of Ohio.
Love it. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the warm welcome. It's good to be back in Milwaukee. This time last year, I was a candidate for U.S. president, and I'm proud to say that I achieved the impossible, which is that most of you actually know how to say my name by now. So thank you for that. It's good to be back. We're in the middle of a national identity crisis right now. Faith, patriotism, hard work, and family have disappeared, only to be replaced by race, gender, sexuality, and climate. But we're not going to win this election just by criticizing the other side. We're going to win this by standing for our own vision of who we really are. What does it mean to be a Republican in the year 2024? What does it mean to be an American in the year 2024? It means we believe in the ideals of 1776. It means we believe in merit, that you get ahead in this country not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character and your contributions. It means we believe in the rule of law, and I say this as the kid of legal immigrants to this country. That means your first act of entering this country cannot break the law. That is why we will seal the southern border on day one. Thank you. It means the people who we elect to run the government ought to be the ones who actually run the government, not unelected bureaucrats in the deep state. These are not black ideas or white ideas. They are not even Democrat ideas or Republican ideas. They are American ideas that we fought a revolution to secure. And the man who will revive these ideals in the United States of America is your next president, the 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. If you want to seal the border, vote Trump. If you want to restore law and order in this country, vote Trump. If you want to reignite the economy in this country, vote Trump. If you want to revive national pride in this country, vote Trump. If you want to make America great again, vote Trump. But there is one more reason I'm going to ask you to vote Trump, and it's the most important one. It's the one the media won't talk about, but it's the truth. Donald Trump is the president who will actually unite this country, not through empty words, but through action. Because you know what? Success is unifying. Excellence is unifying. That's who we are as Americans. That's who we've always been. To those of you watching this at home tonight, I'd like to deliver a message that the media doesn't want you to hear from the Republican Party. Our message to black Americans is this. The media has tried to convince you for decades that Republicans don't care about your communities, but we do. We want for you what we want for every American. Safe neighborhoods, clean streets, good jobs, a better life for your children, and a justice system that treats everyone equally, regardless of your skin color and regardless of your political beliefs. Our message to every legal immigrant in this country is this. You're like my parents. You deserve the opportunity to secure a better life for your children in America. But our message to illegal immigrants is also this. We will return you to your country of origin, not because you're all bad people, but because you broke the law. And the United States of America was founded on the rule of law. Our message to millennials, speaking as one myself, yes, it's true. Our government sold us a false bill of goods with the Iraq War and the 2008 financial crisis, loading up our national debt that falls on our generation's shoulders, telling us that if we took out college loans, we'd somehow get a head start on the American dream when it hasn't worked out that way. But we can't just be cynical about our country because the United States of America is still the last best hope that we have, and we deserve a better class of politician, one who actually tells us the truth, even if it comes with some mean tweets from time to time. And our message to Gen Z is this. You're going to be the generation that actually saves this country. You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative. Say you want to get married, have kids, teach them to believe in God and pledge allegiance to their country. Because you know what? Fear has been infectious in this country, but courage can be contagious too. That too is what it means to be an American. And you know what? If you're at home and you disagree with everything I just said, our message to you is this. We will still defend to the death your right to say it, because that is who we are as Americans. We are the country where we can disagree like hell and still get together at the dinner table at the end of it. That is the America I know. That is the America we miss. We do not have to be ancient Rome. We don't have to be this nation in decline. We can still be a nation in our ascent. A nation whose best days, not in some fake politician way, but in a true way, a nation whose best days are actually still ahead of us. Still on our way to that shining city on a hill, that country where no matter who you are, or where your parents came from, or what your skin color is, or how long your last name is, that you will still get ahead in this country with your own hard work, your own commitment, your own dedication, and that you know what? You are free to speak your mind at every step of the way. That is the American dream. That is what won us the American Revolution. That is what reunited us after the Civil War. That is what won us 2 world wars and the Cold War. That is what still gives hope to the free world. And if we can revive that dream over group identity and victimhood and grievance, then nobody in the world, not a nation, not a corporation, not a virus, not China, is going to defeat us. That is what American exceptionalism is all about. And that is what we will revive this November when we send Donald J. Trump back to the White House. Thank you all. God bless you and your families. And may God bless our United States of America. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Please welcome American icon, singer-songwriter Lee Greenwood.
They say love is a gamble, you can win or lose. Well, life dealt me a queen the day I found you. Now the cards are in my favor, boy, and I'm gonna play them right. You're the one I waited for, now I'm gonna hold on tight. Hey, holding a good hand, come on. I bet my life on you, I'm not gonna let go. Now that I found a heart that's true, I just want a full house and a little piece of land, and I walk through life holding a good hand. Well, I played the game and I paid the price, and I don't mind saying I've lost once or twice, but there ain't no doubt, hey, that my luck came through. You came along and I reached out for you. Come on, country, holding a good hand. I bet my life on you, I'm not gonna let go. Now that I found a heart that's true, I just want a full house and a little piece of land, and I walk through life holding a good hand. Hey, holding a good hand. I bet my life on you, I'm not gonna let go. Now that I found a heart that's true, I just want a full house and a little piece of land, and I walk through life holding a good hand. Holding a good hand. I bet my life on you, I'm not gonna let go. Now that I found a heart that's true, I just want a full house and a little piece of land, and I walk through life holding a good hand. I just want a full house and a little piece of land, and I walk through life holding a good hand. Let's re-elect Donald Trump, the next president of the United States. God bless the USA.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome television personality Savannah Chrisley.
Good evening. 726-00019 and 726-01019. These may be just numbers to you, but to me, they're my whole heart. These numbers are my parents' identification numbers in our federal prison system. My name is Savannah Chrisley, and you may have seen my family on TV, but for the past decade, we've been consumed with a different kind of drama. My family was persecuted by rogue prosecutors in Fulton County due to our public profile. I know, Fulton County, they know how to do it, don't they? Due to our public profile and conservative beliefs. They accused my parents of fraud, when really, we were defrauded by a dishonest business partner who, let's not forget, the government gave full immunity to. We suffered warrantless raids and harassment. One of the officials even had my father's face on a dartboard in his office. My parents were sentenced to a combined 19 years. I know. And let me tell you, I got custody of my brother and sister, 10 and 16 at the time. And you don't know heartache until you look two children in the eyes and say, I don't know when mom and dad are coming home. I'll never forget what the prosecutor said in the most heavily Democrat county in the state before an Obama-appointed judge. He called us the Trumps of the South. Yeah, hey, it's fun. He meant it as an insult, but let me tell you, boy, do I wear it as a badge of honor. We live in a nation founded on freedom, liberty, and justice for all. Justice, it's supposed to be blind, but today we have a two-faced justice system. Just look at what they're doing to President Trump. All while, let's face it, Hunter Biden is roaming around free and attending classified meetings. And let's face it, look at what they're doing to countless Christians and conservatives that the government has labeled extremist or even worse. Meanwhile, the Democrats are releasing actual violent offenders who have hurt innocent people. A lawyer of mine, Brett Tolman, who's a former U.S. attorney, he told me about a plaque that hangs in the Department of Justice, and it reads, "The hallmark of fairness in the administration of justice is consistency. The only thing consistent about Democrat justice is how they consistently punish their enemies. That's not justice. Look at what they've done to Steve Bannon. I mean, the man should be at home." Proverbs 24:16 says, "For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. But the wicked stumble when calamity strikes." It's about time we start seeing people stumble. We need to rise above the persecution. We need to hold rogue prosecutors accountable. There should be no immunity. We need to expose the Democrats' corruption, and better yet, the Biden family's corruption. And guess what? I know just the man for that job. Donald J. Trump has only one conviction that matters, and that is his conviction to make America great again. Thank you, and God bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, the mayor of Dallas, Texas, Eric Johnson.
Four years ago, progressive activists stood on my front lawn with the stated goal of intimidating my family. They wanted me to defund the police. I said no. Folks, I grew up in high-crime neighborhoods. What we wanted was more and better policing, not less. As mayor, I knew we needed to increase support for our police department and prioritize violent crime reduction. I'd been a Democrat my entire life, albeit a conservative one. But when those activists tried to scare my kids, my fellow Democrats were silent. It was Republicans who offered their support both privately and publicly. Party affiliation didn't matter. They cared about doing what was right. Today, I'm the proud Republican mayor of Dallas, Texas. The largest city in the United States led by a Republican. I wanted to say I didn't leave the Democrat Party because they left me first, but the truth is, on matters of public safety, the Democrats were never actually there for me, for Dallas families, or for the American people. With their words and their actions, and sometimes with their silence and their inaction, Democrats in power demonstrate they don't care about stopping the killers or the thieves who terrorize Black and brown communities. They don't care about securing our border, and they don't care about dangerous homeless encampments. No, the heart of today's woke Democrat Party is with the criminals, not with their victims. Democrats are good at using safe words, but terrible at building safe neighborhoods and safe cities. But there is a better way. Dallas bucked national trends and achieved a remarkable 3 straight years of violent crime reduction. Today, Dallas is viewed as America's safest large city, and Republicans lead 11 of the top 15 safest cities. And that's because Republicans won't be silent about public safety. Folks, let's make our city safe again by supporting Republicans who will stand up and fight for our safety. That's my focus as chairman of the Republican Mayors Association. And you know what else? Together, let's make America safe again by retiring Joe Biden and electing Donald J. Trump. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Vice Presidential nominee, Senator J.D. Vance.
Why don't we liberate these United States? We're the ones who need it worst. Let the rest of the world help us for change, and let's rebuild America first. Our highways and bridges are falling apart. Who's blessed and who has been cursed? There's things to be done all over the world, but let's rebuild America first. Who's on the hill and who's watching the valley? Who's in charge of it all? God bless the army and God bless our liberty. That comes the rest of it all. Yeah, men in position of backing away. Freedom is stuck in reverse. Let's get out of Iraq, get back on the track, and let's rebuild America first. Once more. Why don't we liberate these United States? We're the ones who need it the most. You think I'm blowing smoke? Boys, it ain't no joke. I make 20 trips a year from coast to coast. Play it again.
said, young man, when you're short on your dough, you can't stay there. And I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for your men to enjoy. You can hang out with all the boys. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. You can get yourself clean. You can have a good meal. You can do whatever you feel.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the next President of the United States, President Donald J. Trump.
That's what I like about you. Really hold me tight. Tell me I'm the only one when I come over tonight. Yeah. Keep on whispering in my ear. Tell me everything that I wanna hear, 'cause that's true. That's what I like about you. That's what I like about you. You really know how to dance. Go up, down, jump around, make me think of true romance. Yeah. Then you're whispering in my ear. Tell me all the things that I wanna hear, 'cause that's true. That's what I like about you. That's what I like about you. That's what I like about you. What I like about you. Keep it on that lane. Never wanna let you go. No, you give me feel. Alright. Keep on whispering in my ear. Tell me all the things that I wanna hear, 'cause that's true. That's what I like about you. That's what I like about you. That's what I like about you.
This is the man responsible for your family's safety. And he's failed you terribly. Biden made one of the worst mistakes of any president in history when he told illegals to come here and surge our border.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border.
And surge they did. 10 million, more than the population of 40 U.S. states. And Biden's open border became an open invitation for violent Venezuelan gang members, sex traffickers, and now confirmed, ISIS terrorists entered through Biden's wide-open southern border, putting America on high alert for an attack, and your family at great risk.
We immediately surge to the border.
But it gets even worse. Biden's incompetence has led to a horrific 300,000 Americans now dead. Not from a nuclear bomb, but from lethal fentanyl brought in through Biden's wide-open border. And on Biden's watch, enough illegal fentanyl has crossed our borders to kill every single American. That's terrifying. This weak man has been great for the Mexican drug cartels, while being a death sentence for over 300,000 Americans, including young children. That's approaching the number of soldiers that were killed in World War II. Yet what's Biden's message?
Surge to the border.
The Biden surge has also led to a surge in violent crimes committed by illegal migrants. Horrific crimes. Murders. Gang attacks against our police. Child sex crimes. And the brutal killing of a nursing student on her college campus. Countless families will never forget the pain and tragedy. And America should never forget who was responsible. Joe Biden.
Surge to the border.
And America's border czar. President Trump had our borders secure, our families safe, and he'll do it again.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome United States Senator Ted Cruz of Texas.
God bless Donald J. Trump. And let me start by giving thanks to God Almighty for protecting President Trump. And for turning his head on Saturday as the shot was fired. Together we lift up in prayer all of our leaders for protection. And our prayers are in particular with the family of Fire Chief Corey Comparatore and the others injured on Saturday. Never before has an election mattered so much. We are facing an invasion on our southern border. Not figuratively, a literal invasion. 11.5 million people have crossed our border illegally under Joe Biden. Look around you. This arena holds about 18,000 souls. Now imagine 639 arenas just like this, filled to the brim. That is 11.5 million people, larger than all but 8 states in the nation. But the numbers don't show us the true price that our country is paying. Every day, Americans are dying. Murdered, assaulted, raped by illegal immigrants that the Democrats have released. Teenage girls and boys wearing colored wristbands are being sold into a life of sex slavery. This is evil and it's wrong. And it is happening every damn day. Think of Kate Steinle. She was 32, walking with her father on a San Francisco pier when a bullet tore through her heart. The man who fired that gun, he'd been deported 5 times. Every damn day. Think of Laken Riley. Just 22 years old, a nursing student with dreams of healing others. She went for a jog and never came home. Her life taken by someone who should have never been here. Every damn day. Or Rachel Marin, a beautiful mother of 5, raped and murdered in suburban Maryland by an illegal immigrant the Democrats released every damn day. Or Jocelyn Nungary, only 12 years old. It was just 1 month ago today that she was brutally raped and murdered in Houston by 2 men who were supposed to be detained and monitored, but instead released and allowed to roam free. Every damn day. These aren't just stories or statistics. They're our daughters, our sisters, our friends. The families don't care about the empty numbers. They care about the empty chairs at the dinner table, about the voices they'll never hear again, about the laughter lost, and about the dreams that will never be fulfilled. I've sat with these families in living rooms where the silence is so loud that it hurts, where photo albums are opened with trembling hands. How did we get here? It happened because Democrats cynically decided they wanted votes from illegals more than they wanted to protect our children. Today, as a result of Joe Biden's presidency, your family is less safe. Your children are less safe. The country is less safe. But here's the good news. We can fix it. And when Donald Trump is president, we will fix it. We know this because he's done it before. I know this because I worked hand in hand with President Trump to secure our border, and we achieved the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years. It's real simple. He's done it before, and he'll do it again. So tonight, I speak for Kate and Laken and Rachel. Tonight, I speak for Jocelyn. And let us go forward together and keep our sacred oath to defend the Constitution and to protect the American people. Let us secure our borders, enforce our laws, protect our children, and restore the future. Because when we do that, when we remember who we are and who we love, and we act to protect them, then and only then will we truly make America great again. Thank you. God bless Texas, and God bless the United States of America.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former law enforcement officer Randy Sutton.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Hello, America. My name is Randy Sutton, a police lieutenant. I was a police officer for 34 years. I was one of the most highly decorated officers in the history of my department. And then I founded the Wounded Blue, an organization dedicated to helping injured and disabled law enforcement officers. I've dedicated my life to law enforcement. And I'm here to tell you one thing, America. Donald Trump is the best friend we will ever have. Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing a plague of crime across America. The endless tsunami of illegal aliens, no consequences for violent crime, the abuse of our criminal justice system. It's all made America more dangerous than ever before. Police are the thin blue line between criminal predators and their victims. Donald Trump and Republicans stand that line with our police. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, well, they stand with the criminals. The last few years have been devastating for our police. The war on cops is very real, and it's getting Americans killed. Last year alone, more than 70,000 law enforcement officers were physically assaulted. They were shot, they were stabbed, they were beaten, they were hit with bricks, and in the last 5 years, 1,834 made the ultimate sacrifice and gave their lives in the line of duty. But all of this will end on the day we elect Donald J. Trump president. But my friends, it's not just the physical violence. It's the relentless effort to divide the people from the police. This is about the soul of America. Make no mistakes, if the radical left succeeds in defunding and destroying policing as we know it, they will break apart the cornerstone of our system, law and order. Well, amazing. Thank you. But I'm going to tell you, there's one man that these pro-criminal, anti-police extremists fear most. And that is the once and future president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Before I finish my remarks, I want to do one thing, and that is salute our president. America, I make this promise. Our police will never waver from their mission to serve and protect, even at the risk of their own lives. but they need a true leader who will have their backs. Donald J. Trump is that leader. Thank you. May God bless you. May God bless those that walk the line. And may God bless America.
From the very first day that we take back the White House from crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country, I believe that we're going to have 4 of the greatest years in the history of our country. I will, once and for all, secure our elections. We're going to go to paper ballots. We're going to have same-day voting, voter ID. We're going to do it properly. We're going to have good, secure, beautiful elections. We never want what happened in 2020 to happen again. But until then, Republicans must win, and we must use every appropriate tool available to beat the Democrats. They are destroying our country. Whether you vote early, absentee, by mail, or in person, we are going to protect the vote. That's the most important thing we have to do, is protect the vote. Keep your eyes open, because these people want to cheat, and they do cheat, and frankly, it's the only thing they do well. We will make sure your ballot is secure and your voice is heard. Many Republicans like to vote on Election Day, and we must swamp the radical Democrats with massive turnout on Tuesday, November 5th. The way you win is to swamp them. If we swamp them, they can't cheat. It just doesn't work out. But if you can't make it, you need to make a plan, register, and vote any way possible. We got to get your vote. So with your vote, we will win a victory the likes of which no one has ever seen before. We will evict crooked Joe Biden from the White House, and we will take back our country on November 5th, 2024, the most important day in the history of our country. That's what it's going to go down as. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Iowa Attorney General Brenna Byrd.
Good evening, Milwaukee. My name is Brenna Byrd, and I am the Attorney General of the great state of Iowa. A few years ago, I was a local prosecutor, locking up bad guys. But in 2022, I ran for Attorney General and beat the incumbent Democrat who was first elected when I was just 2 years old. We won because Iowans were ready for an Attorney General who would protect them, not the criminals. An Attorney General who would stand up to Joe Biden and the radical Democrats. And an Attorney General who would defend our constitutional freedoms. But perhaps more than anything, Iowa voters wanted an Attorney General who would back the blue. Unfortunately, Democrats like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have made life miserable for law enforcement. They treat police like criminals, and criminals like victims. And tragically, many crime victims feel abandoned by a justice system that doesn't seem to put their interests first. They deserve better than what these defund the police Democrats deliver. Yet the radical left believes in handouts, not handcuffs. Democrats like Harris use words like reimagine the police. They're probably imagining more DEI programs for the police. Harris even said that putting more cops on the street wouldn't make communities safer. American families disagree. Never forget. The Democratic Party is the party of defunding the police. They said it, they mean it, and they can't wiggle out of it. Republicans get justice for victims, and we put criminals where they belong, in jail. That's why we need to elect President Donald J. Trump. President Trump knows that keeping Americans safe isn't a 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. job. And rank and file cops know that President Trump, he has their back. It touched our hearts when earlier this year, President Trump attended the wake of a fallen New York City police officer. We all owe heroes like Officer Jonathan Diller a debt we can never repay. President Trump knows this, and he shows his gratitude. Joe Biden was also in New York City that day, but instead of honoring our heroes, he attended a glitzy fundraiser with Barack Obama and Bill Clinton. None of them went to pay their respects. That day, we saw Democrat priorities, and we saw Donald Trump's priorities, and we saw that Trump's values are our values. I urge everyone listening to stand with law enforcement and vote to make America safe again. I urge you to vote for Donald Trump on November 5th. Thank you, Milwaukee, and God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former Governor of South Carolina and Ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley.
My fellow Republicans, President Trump asked me to speak to this convention in the name of unity. It was a gracious invitation, and I was happy to accept. I'll start by making one thing perfectly clear. Donald Trump has my strong endorsement, period. Our country is at a critical moment. We have a choice to make. For more than a year, I said a vote for Joe Biden is a vote for President Kamala Harris. After seeing the debate, everyone knows it's true. If we have 4 more years of Biden, or a single day of Harris, our country will be badly worse off. For the sake of our nation, we have to go with Donald Trump. But there's more to it than that. We should acknowledge that there are some Americans who don't agree with Donald Trump 100% of the time. I happen to know some of them. And I want to speak to them tonight. My message to them is simple. You don't have to agree with Trump 100% of the time to vote for him. Take it from me. I haven't always agreed with President Trump. But we agree more often than we disagree. We agree on keeping America strong. We agree on keeping America safe. And we agree that Democrats have moved so far to the left that they're putting our freedoms in danger. I'm here tonight because we have a country to save. And a unified Republican Party is essential for saving her. For those who have some doubts about President Trump, I want to tell you a few things about the Commander-in-Chief I know and worked with. As ambassador to the United Nations, I had a front row seat to his national security policies. We sure could use those again. Think about it. When Barack Obama was president, Vladimir Putin invaded Crimea. With Joe Biden as president, Putin invaded all of Ukraine. But when Donald Trump was president, Putin did nothing. No invasions, no wars. That was no accident. Putin didn't attack Ukraine because he knew Donald Trump was tough. A strong president doesn't start wars. A strong president prevents wars. Then look at the Middle East. Every problem in that part of the world can be laid at the feet of Iran. The dictators who chant death to America are the bankrollers and weapons suppliers for Hamas and Hezbollah. They're behind the barbaric massacres and the hostage-taking. Once again, compare Trump and Biden. Trump got us out of the insane Iran nuclear deal. He imposed the toughest sanctions ever on Iran. And he eliminated the arch-terrorist Qasem Soleimani. Iran was too weak to start any wars. They knew Trump meant business, and they were afraid. And then there's Joe Biden. He lifted the sanctions. He begged them to get back into the nuclear deal. He surrendered in Afghanistan. He sent every possible sign of weakness. Even now, while Hamas is still holding Americans hostage, Biden is pressuring Israel instead of the terrorists. Between Israel and Hamas, Donald Trump is clear about who is our friend and who is our enemy. Then look at the border. It's the single biggest threat Americans face. Under Joe Biden, migrants are coming into our country by the thousands every day. We have no idea who they are, where they end up, or what they plan to do. And let me remind you, Kamala had one job, and that was to fix the border. Now imagine her in charge of the entire country. Under Donald Trump, we didn't have the border disaster we have today, and we won't when he is president again. I was proud to serve America in President Trump's cabinet, and I'll tell you something you won't hear from the critics. He appreciated advice and input. Americans were well served by his presidency, even if they didn't agree with him on all things. Now, to my fellow Republicans, we must not only be a unified party, we must also expand our party. We are so much better when we are bigger. We are stronger when we welcome people into our party who have different backgrounds and experiences. And right now, we need to be strong to save America. This is a defining moment, not only for our party, but for our country. Our fellow Americans are fearful right now. Families are suffering from inflation and wages that don't keep up with prices. Young people are being indoctrinated to think our country is racist and evil. The Jewish community is facing an obscene rise in anti-Semitism. Too many minorities are trapped in communities devastated by crime. Our foreign enemies win when they see Americans hate each other. They see that today, whether it's on college campuses or in a field in Butler, Pennsylvania. But we can conquer those fears with strength and unity. No president can fix all of our problems alone. We have to do this together. America has an amazing ability to self-correct. In this moment, we have a chance to put aside our differences and focus on what unites us and strengthens our country. Let us join together as a party. Let us come together as a people, as one country, strong and proud. Let us show our children and the world that even on our worst day, we are blessed to live in America. God bless you. Thank you. God bless the United States of America.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis.
My fellow Republicans, let's send Joe Biden back to his basement and let's send Donald Trump back to the White House. Life was more affordable when Donald Trump was president. Our border was safer under the Trump administration, and our country was respected when Donald Trump was our commander-in-chief. Joe Biden has failed this nation. As a veteran, I was appalled when 13 of our service members were killed in Afghanistan due to Joe Biden's dereliction of duty. As a citizen, as a husband, and as a father, I am alarmed that the current president of the United States lacks the capability to discharge the duties of his office. Our enemies do not confine their designs to between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. We need a commander-in-chief who can lead 24 hours a day and 7 days a week.
America cannot afford 4 more years of a weekend at Bernie's presidency. But let's be honest here. Biden is just a figurehead. He's a tool for imposing a leftist agenda on the American people. They support open borders, allowing millions and millions of illegal aliens to pour into our country and to burden our communities, but just don't send any to Martha's Vineyard, then they get really upset. They have unleashed progressive prosecutors across our nation who care more about coddling criminals than about protecting their own communities. They use the unelected bureaucracy to impose their will on us without our consent, and they weaponize political power to target their political opponents like they've done to our own nominee. They want to ban gas automobiles, eliminate Second Amendment rights, and impose gender ideology on everyone from our infantrymen to kindergartners. They stand for DEI, which really means division, exclusion, and indoctrination, and it is wrong. They mandated that you show proof of a COVID vaccine to go to a restaurant, but they oppose requiring proof of citizenship to cast a vote. They can't even define what a woman is. Now, Donald Trump stands in their way, and he stands up for America. Donald Trump has been demonized, he's been sued, he's been prosecuted, and he nearly lost his life. We cannot let him down, and we cannot let America down. It is the values of this Republican Party that reflect our nation's founding principles. We believe schools should educate, not indoctrinate. We stand for parents' rights, including universal school choice. We support law and order, not rioting and disorder. We seek a strong, focused United States military, not one distracted by a social agenda. We reject entrenched political class, and we demand term limits for members of Congress. We stand for fiscal sanity, for low taxes, and for reduced debt. We seek to reclaim the constitutional government as envisioned by our founding fathers by bringing the administrative state to heel once and for all. We believe that you must be a citizen in order to vote, and that photo ID should be required before casting a ballot. We stand for strong borders and believe that our nation must have a shared civic culture, and we oppose any immigration that stands apart or in contrast to our American values. We believe in the principles articulated in the Declaration of Independence that our rights come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of the Almighty, including the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, none of this is easy, but it can be done. For decades, my home state saw elections determined by razor-thin margins. Today, due to bold leadership, the Democratic Party lies in ruins. The left is in retreat. Freedom reigns supreme. The woke mind virus is dead, and Florida is a solid Republican state. Now, electing Donald Trump gives us the chance to do this all across America. And we have a responsibility to step up and make it happen. We have a responsibility to preserve what George Washington called the sacred fire of liberty. This was a fire that burned in Independence Hall in 1776 when 56 men pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to establish this nation. It's a fire that burned at a cemetery in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, when our nation's first Republican president pledged this nation to a new birth of freedom. It's a fire that burned at the foot of the Berlin Wall in 1987, when our nation's 40th president stood in front of that wall and said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." This is not a responsibility we should fear. It's a responsibility we should welcome. After all, if not us, who? And if not now, when? Let's make the 45th President of the United States the 47th President of the United States. Let's elect Republicans up and down the ballot, and let's heed the call of our party's nominee to fight, fight, fight for these United States. Thank you. God bless you. Let's win in November. Thank you so much.
It's the mayor of Magaville, baby. Hey, you know who we voting for? We voting Donald Trump, baby. Donald Trump, baby. America needs saving. America needs saving. We voting Trump, baby. Trump, baby. November 5th, we going crazy. November 5th, we going crazy. Red pill poppin', swerving in the Trump. Republican 4G, Antifa knows what's up. Red, white, and blue, MAGA nation, throw it up. Black, white, and brown, all about a Trump. Democrat party gon' take your freedom. Indicting our president cause they can't beat him. It's a two-tier justice system. Put America first, we the big. FJB, FJB. FJB, FJB. FJB, FJB. Let's go, Brandon, sing it. We voting Donald Trump, baby. Donald Trump, baby. America needs saving. America needs saving. We voting Trump, baby. Trump, baby. November 5th, we going crazy. November 5th, we going crazy. Now I pledge allegiance to vote for Trump. There's a red wave coming, you gon' surf for what? In God I trust to take the devil away. Lock Joe Biden up and throw the key away. Your propaganda ain't gonna work on me. Bidenomics is like you working for free. I demand reparations from every idiot that voted for Joe Biden, boy, period. Period, Sleepy Joe is a fraud. And the bloodbath in the Oval Office. The media is the enemy of the people. The Democrats and the fake news always cheat. FJB, FJB. FJB, FJB. FJB, FJB. Let's go, Brandon, sing it. We voting Donald Trump, baby. Donald Trump, baby. America needs saving. America needs saving. We voting Trump, baby. Trump, baby. November 5th, we going crazy. November 5th, we going crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome United States Senator Eric Schmitt of Missouri.
Hello, Milwaukee. Hello, America. I'm Eric Schmitt from the great state of Missouri, the Show Me State. It's not lost on me how unlikely my presence is on this stage. As the grandson of a butcher, the son of a man who worked 7 days a week in the midnight shift, my blue-collar roots run deep. And I'm proud the Republican Party is the party of working families. Missouri is home to cities named Liberty, and independence, in towns called freedom and defiance. So it should come as no surprise that we are sick and tired of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And I am here with a simple message. Enough is enough. We're ready to take our country back. Under Joe Biden, the rule of law has disintegrated. Crime is rampant. Our communities are under siege, and our brave law enforcement officers are constantly being vilified. He stood idly by as liberal DAs and mayors pushed a defund the police agenda and empowered criminals, all while endangering law-abiding citizens. Kamala Harris shares in these failures. She campaigned as a progressive prosecutor and even called for us to reimagine public safety. Americans don't need to reimagine safety. We know exactly what safe communities look like. But the weakness and the wokeness of the Biden-Harris administration has made us less safe. Biden and Harris opened our border to terrorists, to criminals. They allowed drug cartels to flood our communities with Chinese fentanyl that's killing more than 200 Americans each and every day. It doesn't have to be this way. As Missouri's former Attorney General, I went toe-to-toe with the radical defund the police crowd and had the backs of our men and women in blue. When Soros-backed officials refused to prosecute violent criminals, I stepped in and put those dangerous felons behind bars. And I know President Trump will do the same. He'll restore law and order. He'll unapologetically back the blue. And President Trump will secure the border once and for all. I believe in an America where our best days are ahead of us. I believe in an America where moms and dads can raise their kids in safe communities. And I believe in an America where we defend the police, not defund the police. President Trump will make that dream a reality, and that's why we need him back in the White House. Ladies and gentlemen, a vote for President Trump is a vote to make America safe again. Thank you. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome United States Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas.
I want to share two stories about immigration and two presidents. Manuel was a house painter in Arkansas and a green card holder from Mexico. He couldn't vote in 2020 yet, but his family could. Manuel proudly told his contractor that they had just cast their first votes for president. For whom? Donald Trump, of course. When asked why, Manuel gestured to the parking lot and responded, "Have you seen my new pickup? And did you know that my brother and sister both have full-time jobs? With Trump, we've had more work than ever. Things are good." Manuel became a citizen last year, and he's excited to vote for the first time for Donald Trump. By contrast, after Joe Biden and the border czar, Kamala Harris, reversed President Trump's immigration policies and welcomed a third world invasion, I traveled to our border. What did I see? The body of a migrant drowned in the Rio Grande. Human traffickers on the southern bank taunting the Border Patrol. Migrants huddled under a bridge. I asked them why they came. None said persecution. Most said for a job. A few admitted because they could get in. Another answered with one simple word: Biden. My flight home the next day was full of these migrants, and you, all of you, paid for their tickets. That's our choice. A secure border and an immigration system that works for all of our citizens, whether your ancestors bled with George Washington, or like Manuel in Arkansas, you just took the oath of citizenship, or Joe Biden's chaos. Donald Trump said, you can't have a nation without borders, and he defended those borders. Joe Biden thinks borders are racist. Donald Trump will secure our border once again. Donald Trump banned travel to America from terrorist-infested countries. Joe Biden allowed ISIS to smuggle terrorists in. Donald Trump will protect America once again. Donald Trump insisted that immigrants must stand on their own 2 feet, the oldest principle of American immigration. Joe Biden gave migrants welfare, free hotels, and more. Donald Trump will stop migrant welfare once again. Donald Trump ended bogus asylum claims. Joe Biden created an app to let illegals schedule their arrival. Seriously. Donald Trump will stop this migrant fraud once again. Donald Trump cracked down on hiring illegals. Joe Biden let illegals take American jobs. Donald Trump will protect America's workers once again. So what choice will we make? Will we choose Joe Biden, open borders, amnesty, and chaos? No, of course not. We'll choose Donald Trump and his record of security, prosperity, and stability. As Manuel said, things were good with Donald Trump, but everything has gone to hell under Joe Biden. But this Biden chaos will end soon, because it's time for us to elect President Trump to secure our border and to make America great again. Thank you all. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michael Coyle from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Good evening, Milwaukee. My name is Michael Coyle. I'm from Philadelphia, in an area of Kensington, one of the worst neighborhoods in America. Kensington has long struggled, but in the last few years, things have gotten much worse. Our streets are plagued by drugs. You'll find human feces in front of your business or someone lying dead on your front steps. Politicians say nice things or clean up the streets for a couple weeks in an election year, or when someone famous visits, or even when there's bad news. But as soon as the politicians are no longer afraid for their jobs, we are no longer afraid for our lives. Our children grow up seeing this, thinking it's normal. But there is nothing normal about this. This should not be the norm happening in the richest nation on earth. As a dad and small business owner, I had to do something. I started a nonprofit to improve the neighborhood I love and shared videos online of the horror we live with. In just one day, in one park, where our kids passed to reach the public library, we picked up over 1,000 needles. 1,000. This is unacceptable. Philadelphia is not just my home, but the birthplace of the nation, where our founding fathers signed the Declaration of Independence. This is not a tragedy for just my city, but for our nation. My city and all cities deserve better. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are the ones who opened our southern border and allowed Chinese fentanyl to pour in unconditional. And life is only getting worse. Philadelphians aren't dying off fentanyl. They are dying off fentanyl as well. They are now using something called tranq, which is literally rots the flesh of the users. Do you know what the smell of rotting flesh smells like? The people of my city do. In Donald Trump, I see a leader who will end the urban nightmare. I ask you to join me in supporting him this fall, because a vote for President Trump is a vote to restore our cities and to make America safe again. Thank you. Kensington Beach for Trump.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Aaron Koper from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
That's right. Good evening. My name is Aaron Koper. I'm a grassroots organizer, a proud Republican woman, and a longtime resident of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm here to urge Americans to re-elect President Trump and make America safe again. But I'm also here with a warning, because in recent years, I've had a front row seat to the chaos caused by Democrats and their soft on crime policies. Democrat Mayor Ed Gainey, Congresswoman Summer Lee, and especially Socialist County Executive Sarah Innamorato have demoralized and disrespected our police while unleashing criminals into our communities. The Pittsburgh Police Department has shrunk from 991 officers in 2020 to 750 at the end of last year. Response times are soaring. One city worker got mugged at gunpoint and raced to a police station, but no one was there to help. The Democrats have given Pittsburgh defund the police on steroids. The result is crime and chaos. There were 122 murders in my county in 2022, one of the deadliest years on record. Drug deaths are also near record highs. But statistics don't tell the full story. I've been chased by drug dealers on my own street. I've seen filthy tent cities pop up on my block. I've talked to business owners who find human waste, used needles, and shell casings outside their shops. I've felt the chill of fear as a woman when I'm alone in a parking garage or on the street. What the Democrats did to San Francisco, they're doing to my city. But law-abiding citizens are fighting back and saying no more. I saw this when Pittsburgh Republicans, independents, even Democrats came together to beat Soros prosecutor last November. It can happen again this November. If we stand together, we will beat the soft-on-crime Democrats and make our streets safe again. We can re-elect President Trump, and we can save our cities. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome American mom, WarThunder.
Hi, my name is WarThunder, and I am the wife and mother of 4 children. I'm standing here today to share the tragic reality of open borders. I'm here to share the story of my firstborn son, my everything, my Weston. My family and I were living in Southern California when President Biden took office and opened our borders. My Weston was 15. He was an amazing big brother to his 3 younger siblings. Weston attended church twice a week, played football and hockey, and he loved to surf. He had a big heart, and he lived to make people laugh. He had so many good friends. And I was always vigilant to be the best mother that I could be. I was room mom, school ambassador, and I attended all of his sports. We had family dinners and barbecues at the beach. And like most teenagers, Weston wanted to fit in. And in a moment of peer pressure, he tried something that someone gave to him, and it took my baby's life. We did everything right. I had those conversations with him, and fentanyl still found my son. And on February 27th, 2022, our lives were shattered, and our baby was gone. This was not an overdose, it was a poisoning. His whole future, everything we ever wanted for him was ripped away in an instant. And Joe Biden does nothing. I hold Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, the borders are, what a joke. And Gavin Newsom and every Democrat who supports open borders responsible for the death of my son. Thank you. And the tens of thousands of American innocent children. For that alone, they should be voted out of office. must go. Yes, he must. Joe must go. Absolutely. We have seen the highest number of fentanyl deaths during the Biden-Harris administration, and fentanyl is now the #1 killer of Americans ages 18 to 45, and it is quickly becoming the leading cause of death for teens, with 14 and under being the fastest growing demographic. We need President Trump back in office. We need a president who will seal the border, aggressively prosecute drug dealers, and stop Communist China from poisoning our children. This is not a red or blue issue. This is a red, white, and blue issue. And fentanyl doesn't care if you're black or white. It does not discriminate. This is an American issue. We need a president who will call the drug cartels what they are: terrorist organizations. This fight is not for me. My son is gone. This fight is for your children. We owe it to our children to elect a president who will win the war against fentanyl once and for all. It's too late for my son, Weston. Say his name, Joe Biden. Weston. Thank you. Thank you. But we can change this for your children. We need President Trump back to save the lives of our kids. Thank you. Thank you. God bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Morin family from Maryland.
Last year, we lost my beloved sister, Rachel. She went for a walk in one of our family's favorite places. This beautiful trail was to us a safe place where we pushed our babies in strollers, where we walked together as a family, where my wife and I got married, near what would later become the spot where my sister's body was found. Rachel, a joyful, accomplished athlete and mother of 5, was raped and murdered by a suspected illegal immigrant. This was described as among the most brutal and violent offenses that has ever occurred in Harford County, Maryland history. Open borders are often portrayed as compassionate and virtuous. But there is nothing compassionate about allowing violent criminals into our country and robbing children of their mother. My sister's death was preventable. The monster arrested for killing Rachel entered the U.S. unlawfully after killing a woman in El Salvador. Joe Biden and his designated border czar, Kamala Harris, opened our borders to him and others like him, empowering them to victimize the innocent. Yet, to this day, we have not heard from Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. They never apologized. But when Rachel was killed, President Trump called my family to offer his condolences. He wanted to meet with us. He cared. That is leadership. And we need real leadership back in the White House. What has gotten us through this unthinkable loss is our faith in Jesus Christ. And as brutal as the murder of my sister was, I pray that her killer will find Jesus Christ. For all the affected by senseless tragedy, I pray for peace, knowing that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. I pray that we hold worldly leaders accountable for safety and justice for innocent people. I pray that we make our country safe and secure in the memory of my sister Rachel, who loved life. Thank you. God bless America. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Madeline Brame from New York.
Good evening, everyone. My son, Sergeant Hassan Korea, an Afghanistan War retired veteran. He received enemy fire from the Taliban, only to be murdered with a knife on the streets of New York City. The 4 assailants responsible for his death initially were facing justice, but that changed when District Attorney Alvin Bragg was elected. Suddenly, 2 of the homicidal maniacs responsible for my son's death had their gang assault and murder charges completely dismissed. One of them received 14 months time served. Alvin Bragg charged her with assault with a shoe. And another one was sentenced to 7 years. I later learned that Alvin Bragg often dismisses and reduces dangerous criminals. He wants to clear the jails and return violent felons onto our streets every day. The injustice was devastating for me and my family. I don't want anyone else to experience the senseless pain that many other victims across this United States of America have to live with every day. So I decided to use the voice that God gave me to be the voice for the voiceless across America. We need justice for victims, and we need accountability for prosecutors who fail in their duty. Soft on crime prosecutors like Alvin Bragg in New York, Kim Foxx in Chicago, and George Gascon in Los Angeles have turned our great country country and cities into war zones. Poor and neglected communities like mine are suffering. And who else in here is sick and tired of being sick and tired? The Democratic Party that poor minorities have been loyal to for decades, including myself, all right? They betrayed us. They stabbed us in the back. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who claim to represent us, have abandoned us. They neglected the poor minority communities across America. But mine eyes have been opened. Just like so many other poor minorities across America. Donald Trump shares our values, love of God and family and country. He's been a victim of the same corrupt system that I have been and my family has been. He is committed to providing economic opportunities, helping those suffering from addiction with long-term inpatient drug programs, rolling back deadly bail reform policies that are getting our children killed every single day, and supporting our police. We back the NYPD. We back the blue. Back the blue. NYPD, black the blue. Trump was right when he said, they're after us. He's just standing in the way. And guess what? He always will. That's why I'm standing with him today. Let's make America safe again. Donald J. Trump. Thank you, and good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Thank you. What a powerful story to follow. Good evening. I'm Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And before I get started, I want to say I have always been proud to stand with President Trump, but never have I been more proud than to stand with him right now, tonight. Not even an assassin's bullet could stop him. God Almighty intervened because America is one nation under God, and He is certainly not finished with President Trump. and our country is better for it. I am here tonight as America's youngest governor, the first woman to lead the great state of Arkansas. And most importantly, a mom to 3 amazing kids, Scarlett, Huck, George. When I was President Trump's White House press secretary, the best job, I got the chance to take my 4-year-old son, Huck, to bring your kid to work day. Much like Jill now drags Joe to bring your husband to work day. And while I was briefing the president on the upcoming event in the Oval Office, all of the kids who were attending that day gathered in the Rose Garden, getting ready to meet him. And we were walking out onto that beautiful, perfect colonnade. And I saw out of the corner of my eye that my son Huck was running full speed directly at the President of the United States. Being the gracious person he is, President Trump bent down to give him a big hug. And right in front of everyone, Huck sidestepped the president, completely ignoring him in front of everyone, and ran straight into my arms. For my 4-year-old son, the most powerful
I work at a pharmacy. People struggle to pay for their insulin. I did too when I had gestational diabetes. Sherry Brown capped insulin at $35 a month. It made such a difference. Tell Sherry Brown to keep fighting for lower drug costs.
Details, now more defined.
In your post.
I'm a congresswoman.
His incredible courage and resilience. They stand in fear and awe at the thought of his return. By voting for President Trump, you are casting a vote for the strength and grace that will bring peace and prosperity back to you, your family, America, and the world. Don't let anyone ever tell you differently. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Congressman Matt Gaetz of Florida.
Donald Trump is unstoppable. Elect him president again, and America will be unstoppable too. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's been out of it. Democrats have been hiding the real Biden for years. We saw people in the witness protection program more often than we saw unscripted Biden. Under Biden-Harris, America has fallen sicker, lonelier, and poorer. Under Trump, we prospered, we were richer, inflation was low, and there were 2 genders. Under Biden-Harris, inflation has gotten so bad you can no longer bribe Democrat senators with cash alone. You have to use gold bars just so the bribes hold value. Oh, the swamp draining will recommence soon, and I will be President Trump's strongest ally in Congress to pass term limits, to stop taxpayer funding for political campaigns, to ban members of Congress for life from becoming lobbyists, and for the same reason you don't let the referee bet on the game, ban members of Congress from trading individual stocks. I am proud to stand before you, the only Republican in Congress who takes no lobbyist money, no PAC money. It's not good for me. I work for you, not them. President Trump, he'll never defund our police, but he will defund foreign aid to countries that hate us. And President Trump understands that if it isn't racist to check ID for a hunting license or welfare benefits or a fishing license, then it is okay to demand an ID to vote everywhere in this country in every election that's held. A Democrat congressman recently said that any criticism of Joe Biden is ableist. I don't think it's too much to ask that the American president be able to do the job. Kamala Harris isn't able to do any job. She was appointed border czar. Appointing Kamala Harris to oversee the border is like appointing Bernie Madoff to oversee your retirement plan. President Trump has shown the world what he is made of, and now we will show the world what America is made of by having his back. And how about the choice President Trump made for a running mate? JD looks like a young Abraham Lincoln, but he's from Ohio, like General Grant. And like General Grant, JD Vance knows how to fight. So they can run Biden from the nursing home, Harris, George Clooney, Robert De Niro, whoever they want to run. We are on a mission to rescue and save this country, and we ride or die with Donald John Trump to the end. Thank you all so much. Thank you for having my back. Let's go get him.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former United States Ambassador to the Holy See, the Vatican, Callista Gingrich.
Good evening. Tonight, we look toward a brighter, safer, and more prosperous future with Donald J. Trump as our next President of the United States. When I served as President Trump's ambassador to the Vatican, I witnessed the importance of having a president who stands up for religious freedom. Over the last 4 years, the failed policies of the Biden administration have jeopardized our right to worship freely and weakened our nation. Freedom of religion is one of our nation's most important foundational principles. Throughout our history, the right to practice our faith has been at the heart of the American experience. Today, this fundamental right is under attack. In recent years, the radical policies, rules, and regulations imposed by our own government have threatened people of faith. However, we have reason to hope. In our lifetime, no president has done more to advance and defend religious freedom than President Donald Trump. During his term, President Trump defended the rights of doctors, nurses, and teachers to act in accordance with their conscience. He appointed 3 Supreme Court justices committed to protecting our God-given right to worship. He expanded school choice and defended the First Amendment freedom of every student to practice their faith in public schools. As president, Donald Trump signed an executive order that defined international religious freedom as a moral and national security imperative. And he was the first and only president to convene a meeting at the United Nations dedicated to ending religious persecution and defending religious liberty around the world. Tragically, many of President Trump's policies have been replaced by the Biden administration's anti-faith agenda that uses the power of the government to impose its far-left ideology on religious believers. Biden's FBI has even stated that practicing Catholics present an elevated risk of domestic terrorism simply because of their faith. Unlike President Biden, President Trump has a proven track record for promoting and protecting religious freedom at home and abroad. Our choice is clear. We need strong leadership, bold action, and unwavering commitment to preserve our God-given rights. I am confident that President Trump will continue to fight for our founding principles and beliefs when he becomes the 47th President of the United States. Thank you.
Please welcome Newt Gingrich.
Thank you very much. That's a very warm welcome. You know, President Trump understands that the world is dangerous and that it takes an enormous effort to defeat anti-American and anti-freedom forces around the world. He also understands that when faced with multiple adversaries across the globe, the Reagan principle of peace through strength is the only road for safety for the America and the American people. The contrast between President Trump's realistic policy of resolute strength in a dangerous world and President Biden's policies of appeasement, weakness, and self-delusion may be the biggest difference between the Make America Great Again movement and the Make America Weak ideology of the left. We have to remember that the greatest threat to American safety is not Biden's brain. The greatest threat is Biden's policies and the people he appoints to implement them. He is working towards appeasement when the world today is incredibly dangerous. A growing coalition of dictatorships is actively trying to undermine American power and conquer America's allies. A religious dictatorship in Iran, which chants death to America, is on the verge of having nuclear weapons. Russia's dictator has unleashed the deadliest European war since World War II. Communist China continues to develop its military power while actively seeking to undermine America through espionage, fentanyl, and the infiltration of our companies and our universities. Faced with these clear and present dangers, President Biden has adopted failed policy after failed policy. Where President Trump orchestrated an orderly end to the Afghanistan war with no American killed in nearly 2 years. Biden ordered a chaotic, panic-filled withdrawal that left 13 American troops and hundreds of Afghans dead. Where President Trump insisted on keeping Bagram Air Base, which is located within 1 hour of the Chinese nuclear facilities, President Biden gave it to the Taliban, who are now allied with Communist China. Where President Trump brokered the Abraham Accords and was moving the Middle East toward peace and cooperation, President Biden's weakness and confusion led to a terrible Hamas assault, killing more than 1,200 innocent people in Israel. Under Trump, we achieved peace through strength. Under Biden, we have war, suffering, death, and a world teetering on the edge of World War III. Like Prime Minister Winston Churchill and President Abraham Lincoln, President Trump understands that only a firm, courageous policy of strength will work in a dangerous world. The message for this November is clear. You can vote for weakness and war with Biden, or you can vote for strength and peace with President Trump. Let's dedicate ourselves to making America safe, strong, and proud again with President Trump. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former Director of the United States Office of Trade and Manufacturing Policy, Peter Navarro.
This is a beautiful thing. And I think you folks just want to know if you can see my MAGA tattoo I got there. Yes, indeed. This morning I did walk out of a federal prison in Miami. Joe Biden and his Department of Injustice put me there. Tonight I'm here with you in this beautiful city of Milwaukee. I've got a very simple message for you. If they can come for me, if they can come for Donald Trump, be careful, they will come for you. If we don't control our government, their government will control us. If we don't control all three branches of our government, legislative, executive, and judicial, their government will put some of us, like me and Steve Bannon, in prison and control the rest of us. Here's how it went. Here's how I got in prison. The legislative branch came for me first. Your favorite Democrat, Nancy Pelosi, created your favorite committee, the sham January 6th committee, which demanded that I violate executive privilege. What did I do? I refused. The J6 committee demanded that I betray Donald John Trump to save my own skin. I refused. Here's the thing about the Constitution. They demanded that I break the law because they have no respect for it. I refused. And a Democrat majority in the House then voted to hold me in contempt. All right, what happened next? The next jackboot to drop was the executive branch. Another one of your favorite Democrats, Democrat Attorney General Merrick Garland. There's a winner. Him and Jack Smith indicted and prosecuted me for criminal contempt of Congress. Now, here's what's weird about it. It's something that Democrat prosecutors refused to do against one of their own, including two guys with blood on their hands, Eric Holder and Alejandro Mayorkas, the great border czar, right? They've actually gotten people killed. For decades, the Department of Injustice right now, the Department of Justice policy stated, hear me out on this, if Congress slaps a subpoena on a senior White House advisor like me, the advisor's duty is to politely tell them to go pound sand. That's exactly what I did. So far we got two branches, legislative and executive. The judicial branch delivered the final blow. Just as, here's another favorite of yours, just as Democrat Judge Juan Marchand, you know this guy? Did to Donald John Trump in his Manhattan kangaroo court, another Democrat judge, a guy named Ahmed Maida, keep your eye on this guy, Ahmed Maida, Obama appointee, they stripped me of every possible defense, and then what? Just like in Manhattan with Donald Trump, they threw me to the wolves of an anti-Trump jury, and where? The D.C. swamp. They convicted me. They jailed me. Guess what? They did not break me. And they will never break Donald Trump. They will never break Donald Trump. All right, now here's the most important thing I'm going to tell you. You may be thinking this couldn't happen to you. Make no mistake, they're already coming for you. Joe and Kamala, they threw out the woke blue carpet across the Rio Grande, opened our borders to what? Murderers and rapists. When Donald Trump said it, thank you for saying that, when Donald Trump said murderers, rapists in 2016, they go, oh, racist, whatever. We read the papers. It's murderers and rapists. Murderers and rapists, drug cartels, human traffickers, terrorists, Chinese spies, and a whole army of illiterate illegal aliens stealing the jobs of black, brown, and blue-collar Americans. They put them right on your front doorstep. Now, here's another thing Joe Biden did. You got to love this. The green new scam. We're in the heart here in Milwaukee, around all this. This is where the auto industry, that new scam is destroying our industry. leaving us at the mercy of the battery factories in Shanghai and slave labor in the Congo. Biden inflation, you're going to hear a lot of this because it's so friggin' true. Biden inflation is coming after what's left of your savings and eating your wages. And the Democrats, here's the thing. I'm sitting in prison thinking about this. It just eats at me as the Democrats come for your kids. They're indoctrinating them with poisonous attitudes on race and gender. And here's the thing, when politics fails, the investigations and prosecutions begin. They did it to me. They're going to do it to Trump. But hear me out. They've also done it to Catholics, pro-life activists, and parents who are just standing up for the kids at school board meetings. This is a tale of two Americas, and you know it wasn't this way when Donald Trump was president. I remember the days I was there. In Trump's America, you were safe and our borders were secure. In Trump's America, you were more prosperous, and you didn't have to choose between what? Food on the table, medicine in the cabinet, and a roof over your head. And in Trump's America, you didn't have to worry about being locked up for disagreeing with the government. I went to prison so you won't have to. I am your wake-up call. All right, this is where I'm going to have fun now, because I'm going to leave you now with the last three words. The last three words my beautiful fiancée said when I left that morning for prison. They weren't, "I love you." That was a given. She simply said, "We got this. We got this." That's what bring my girl out now. That's what these lawfare jackals don't understand. When they put people like me in prison and fire figurative and now literal bullets at Donald Trump, they also assault our families. On Election Day, America will hold these lawfare jackals accountable. Now, here's the sweetest thing that's going to come off my lips. Vote Trump Vance. 24 for Trump 47. I'm Peter Navarro. I went to prison so you won't have to. This is my beautiful girl. She did the time with me. That's what these friggin' Democrats don't understand. They do this to our families. She's my girl. Yeah. I love you. Let's win. Do not let up. Do not let up. Pedal to the metal till November.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Congresswoman Monica De La Cruz of Texas.
Hello, Milwaukee. On behalf of the great state of Texas, it is an honor to be with you tonight. I am the the proud granddaughter of Mexican farm workers who came here with little more than faith in God. They never had much money, but they instilled in us strong Texas values. They taught me that through hard work, anything is possible in America. And then I proved it. By getting myself through school and building a successful small business. It wasn't easy, but I'm living proof that the American dream, el sueño americano, can become reality. Only in America can a little girl from South Texas go from watching her abuelo pick watermelons to serving in the people's house. Now, as a mother, I often think about my kids' future, and I'm worried. The American dream is slipping away. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris make it impossible for hardworking Americans like the people in my community to get ahead. Their policies put home ownership out of reach. Wages can't keep up with inflation. They give benefits to illegal immigrants and cut Medicare Advantage for our seniors. They say their immigration policies are compassionate, but there's nothing compassionate about open borders. They threaten our national security, flood our country with deadly drugs, killing our precious children. Biden and Harris don't care about immigrants. They just use them for political gain. We deserve so much better. We must make America strong again by re-electing President Trump. Under his leadership, we can put hardworking Americans first again, end this border crisis. We can restore peace and prosperity, creating an amazing future with endless possibilities. And we can rebuild the most vital institution of all, the American family. Together, we can turn Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's national nightmare into a revival of the American dream. Thank you, Milwaukee. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former Acting Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Tom Homan.
Thank you. How you doing? My home state, New York. Where's New York at? Give me a shout. Damn right. Look, for those who don't know me, my name is Tom Homan. I began my career as a Border Patrol agent in 1984. After 34 years, I became the first Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, that actually came up through the ranks. I've worked for 6 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. Every president I've worked for said they're going to secure the border. President Trump actually did it. He created the most secure border in our history, and that's a stone cold fact. The data proves it, and guess what? He's going to do it again. Under President Trump, we cut illegal immigration by 90%, the lowest level in 45 years. Deportations rose to the highest level ever, including historic numbers of illegal alien gang members and criminals. Most importantly, 4 years under President Trump, we had 13 people we arrested on a terrorist watch list. Joe Biden, 381. And let's remember, we got over 2 million known gotaways. How many of them came from a country that sponsored terrorism? God help us. Biden is the first president in American history to come into office and unsecure a border. Who the hell does that? On their first day in office, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris suspended deportations. They stopped the border wall. They canceled Remain in Mexico. They reinstated catch and release. They proposed amnesty for millions, along with free health care. And now we have a record illegal immigration, a record number of women and children being sex trafficked, a record number of Americans dying from fentanyl, a record number of known as suspected terrorists sneaking across our border. And here's what you need to know. This isn't mismanagement. This isn't incompetence. This is by design, and it's a choice. It's national suicide. But you know what? On November 5th, the American people do have a choice, and they're going to stop this madness. I got a message. As a guy who spent 34 years deporting illegal aliens, I got a message to the millions of illegal aliens that Joe Biden's releasing our country in violation of federal law. You better start packing now. You're damn right. Because you're going home. I got another message. Another message to the criminal cartels in Mexico. You smuggle enough fentanyl across this country to kill 148,000 young Americans. You have killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. And that's when President Trump gets back in office. He's going to designate you a terrorist organization, and he's going to wipe you off the face of the earth. You're done. You're done. President Trump is going to end the Biden-Harris open border madness. We will stop the drugs and the crime from pouring into your neighborhoods. President Trump has proven to the American people that he's a warrior. And he's going to make America safe again, and you can take that to the bank.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage David Lara.
Hello, Milwaukee. Quiero dar un saludo a toda la comunidad y audiencia hispana. I am a proud husband and father of a small business in San Luis, Arizona, a town that sits directly on the U.S.-Mexico border. We are the front line of the Biden's border crisis. Small towns like mine bear the brunt of the chaos. Imagine crowds rushing the port, overwhelming Border Patrol when they know they don't have enough agents to detain everyone. Imagine strangers terrorizing your homes, your neighbors, your yards, and local schools going fearful to let children walk home. Imagine the fire department using off-road vehicles to bring your neighbors to the hospital because the ambulances are taken by so-called asylum seekers. Imagine being treated as second-class citizens, as chaos and crime overwhelm your streets. I don't have to imagine this. I've watched it with my own eyes. I've seen seen my town suffer because Biden and Kamala Harris want the illegal immigration crisis to continue. And no amount of suffering has changed their mind or convinced them to finally put Americans first. In San Luis, Mexican drug cartels use school children as mules. Let that sink in. Deadly drugs flow through our town, bringing crime and violence. San Luis wasn't always this way, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris do not care. In fact, they seem satisfied. They have done nothing to stop it and everything to make it worse. They have never set foot on my border town. 4 years ago, President who believed in borders, and we have a president who traveled all the way to San Luis. We had a president who cared, and we can have that president again. We must re-elect President Trump to close the border, the crime, and stop the drugs from pouring in. We must re-elect President Trump to imprison and deport violent gang members instead of coddling them, terrorize our nation. We must re-elect President Trump to put our citizens first and make America strong again. Los Latinos estamos con Trump. Thank you, Milwaukee. American Latinos for Trump.
Wall Street bankers and foreign investors. We should not be offering commodity farm payments to those folks, and we don't in this bill. Importantly,
illegal immigration. Under President Trump, we had the lowest illegal border crossings in about 4 decades. By contrast, however, Joe Biden deserted his duty. On his first day in office, he gutted President Trump's policies. And the result has been catastrophic. Under Joe Biden, illegal immigration has skyrocketed. Under his watch, around 11 million immigrants have crossed our border illegally. That's more than the entire population of Michigan. It's twice the population of Wisconsin. Biden has welcomed into our country rapists, murderers, even terrorists. And the price that we have paid has been deadly. Among the many victims was 12-year-old Jocelyn from Houston, Texas, raped and murdered by 2 illegal immigrants. She's one of thousands whose lives have been destroyed by Joe Biden's open border policies. To make matters even worse, Biden is even fighting tooth and nail to stop Texas and other Republican states from securing our own borders. I deployed thousands of National Guard soldiers to build hundreds of miles of razor wire barriers. Give it up for our National Guard. They built those barriers to stop illegal crossings. When Joe Biden ordered to cut that razor wire, I ordered the National Guard to triple the razor wire on the border. When Biden took 50 acres of Texas border property to illegally process up to 5,000 illegal immigrants a day, I directed the Texas National Guard to take back our land and wire it shut. Now, there's no longer 5,000 people crossing the border like there was under Joe Biden. Now that the National Guard wired that shut, on average, there is 1 illegal immigrant crossing the border at that location a day. When Joe Biden and Kamala Harris refused to even come to Texas and to see the border crisis that they created, I took the border to them. I began busing illegal immigrants to Washington, D.C. And we have continued busing migrants to sanctuary cities across the entire country. And those buses will continue to roll until we finally secure our border. Fortunately, I see hope on the horizon, because on November the 5th, Joe Biden will be fired. And Donald Trump will once again become the President of the United States of America. He will enforce the immigration laws. He will fight the Mexican drug cartels. And he will arrest the criminal illegal immigrants and put them behind bars. Or send them back. It is time to restore order at the border. It is time to rid our streets of crime and chaos. It is time to secure our nation by returning Donald Trump as President of the United States of America. Thank you all. God bless.
Good evening, Milwaukee. This past Saturday, I was at the Trump rally in Butler. I, in fact, was the first speaker on stage that day. As you can imagine, it was a terrifying experience, but nothing was going to stop me from being here to support President Trump. Thank God President Trump is alive. I'm Sarah Phillips, and I'm honored to speak to you about one of the most important issues in this campaign, energy. President Trump is high energy and supports energy. Biden is low energy and is against energy. The difference is significant for you and significant for our country. President Trump understands that abundant, affordable energy is vital to our economy and to our national security. Meanwhile, President Biden is pushing the Green New scam. President Biden declared war on the oil and gas industry since day one. He canceled the Keystone Pipeline, overrode congressionally directed oil lease sales in Alaska, and has proposed massive tax hikes on oil and gas. His campaign against responsible development of oil and gas is crushing everyday Americans like you and me. I know this firsthand as a petroleum engineer who worked on the front lines as a roughneck. I have witnessed the safe and environmentally responsible way America develops oil and gas resources. And I have worked side by side with those in the field who I consider family and who are dedicated and hardworking. Their critical work is so critical for our country. The hydrocarbons that are being extracted are a true gift. From powering our cars and heating our homes to being a building block for fertilizer, plastic, and many other products, our society and our standard of living could not exist without fossil fuels. Texas. That is among the many reasons why we need to return Donald Trump to the White House. With President Trump back in charge, we'll not only be energy independent, we'll be energy dominant. We'll create jobs, increase investment, and improve our national security. Under President Trump's leadership, America's great economic revival will be powered by American energy.